Welcome back to the Mail-In Podcast. I'm your host, Brett Merriman. Happy June, everybody out there. Freshly turned 31, 1 year older, 1 year wiser for the Mail-In Podcast. Sally is to my right. Sally deFries. What's going on? New haircut?
Yeah.
Looks great.
Thank you. Nothing really.
Same old?
Yeah.
Kitted out in your...
My scrubs that have crap all over them. I have a scratch in my eye.
Oh,
probably.
No.
Just right here. Next to my eye. Thanks to my toddler. Yeah. Happy birthday. Sorry I was not at the party.
Thank you. All good. We had fun. Randy wasn't there either, so.
No.
How's your knee?
It's not the best, but we'll see. MRI the 20th. We'll see what's going on. We'll get in there.
Randy and I, potentially, we both could be on the shelf for a while. If I go get the surgery done on my shoulder and Randy gets surgery on his knee.
I'm still confused why you're not getting the surgery in your shoulder.
I'm trying to,
Heal it
financially.
with essential oils?
Yeah. Here's the thing. They said they don't know how bad it is because on the MRI, they can't tell old scar tissue from like new injury.
Mm-hmm.
So he said, I literally won't know what I can do until I'm inside you.
Right.
I don't love that like level of uncertainty, I guess, because there's a world where like option one is he goes in and he finds something he can anchor the labrum to and does it great. But the lack of anchor points, because I've already had it done before, are an issue. So he said option two would be like go in, realize he can't do anything, and then go out doing nothing. Option three is go in, break my shoulder blade so I have new bone to anchor the labrum to. And then I'm looking at like a 9-month, incredibly painful recovery. And I don't like, I only like one of those options, and I don't know what the percentage is on that. So while it doesn't hurt and I work out with it, I'm trying to like rehab like YT and I and band work my way to a functioning shoulder.
Get those essential oils. Rub some beef tallow on it.
Yeah. So, I mean, if it hurt or was like really, and the thing is, it did last year when I played hockey and I fell and it like popped out. As long as that stuff doesn't happen, we're okay.
Maybe you should stop playing hockey.
That's what I've heard from multiple people in my life, and that's just not an option. So
okay, there you go.
How about you, Randall? You're gonna get the maybe. I hope you don't. You
I might not need it. I'm really hoping I don't need it. I think it's just a torn meniscus. I think it's a torn meniscus. My old roommate's wife, who is studying to be an orthopedic surgeon, thinks it's a torn meniscus. The guy that I saw for my first appointment thinks it's a torn meniscus. But until we get the MRI, we won't know. But if it is, it's just like will heal itself and just kind of take it easy.
Here's the question: is she actually studying to be an orthopedic surgeon?
Yeah, she's in med school. She's doing rotations currently and stuff. I don't know. Yeah, so residency is in the fall.
Okay.
I've been rocking a torn meni for years. I'm good. You're good.
This is just giving a little bit like, have y'all seen that Curb episode where the guy's like, my dad's a doctor, so I can save this choking guy.
Yeah.
In college one time, my friend Taylor, who is now currently an anesthesiologist, one of our friends popped his shoulder out of socket and they were like, we're going to take him to Taylor. He's pre-med. I was like, oh, is the chemistry 101 class he's taking currently as a freshman qualify him to pop the shoulder back in?
You know how I do it? It's just, I just when mine pops out and I'm like on a bed or on the ice, I just roll it. I roll back into the pop out and it clicks back into place.
This is great radio.
And it hurts so
People
bad.
can totally see what you're doing.
Did you see that? It's like,
and
then it hurts for about 48 hours really, really badly. And then I'm good.
I think our conversation about fast food that you've never had before was a little bit more interesting than
shoulder talk.
Brett has never had White Castle, Dairy Queen, Taco Bell, or Panda Express.
Correct.
That's wild to me.
Yep.
You had Whataburger?
Oh yeah. That was, I mean, not until I came down here, but
Wendy's.
I've never had anything at Wendy's but a What's the
Frosty?
Yeah, I've had a Frosty where you dip the fries in it.
Yeah.
I have had that. Other than that, I haven't had like a Wendy's burger though.
No one's had a Wendy's burger. People have just had the chili.
Chili?
What are you talking about?
I was just saying, what do you get at Wendy's?
Kidding.
Oh, Baconator?
Wasn't that a thing though that somebody found like a finger in their chili at Wendy's? Or did I make that?
Yeah, they're
up?
getting like they're still getting paid out like
God.
annual installments on it.
I would love to find a finger in my chili from Wendy's.
Wouldn't that be nice?
I would just
get hit by like
quit my job so fast.
Get hit by a Waymo or a get hit by a bird scooter.
Do you think people are throwing themselves in front of Waymos? The thing is that actually, arguably, they might have a faster response time than a human.
Honestly,
so it's like not a good idea. It's better to throw yourself in front of a car that has a driver.
And there's so many cameras,
covered in cameras.
Yeah,
like, I'm sure you probably tell if somebody's like, "Yo, here we go."
Actually, good point.
Yeah,
way better to pick the
teenager
who's driving.
Oh God!
Like while texting, and then throw yourself in front of them.
That's true.
Not that I'm condoning that.
No.
Should we get to the questions?
Yeah, let's do it. We're the Mail-In Podcast. If you want to leave a question, there's a description of this episode with a link in it. You can go to washmedia.com/the Mail-In Podcast, or just go to washmedia.com and click on our little logo and leave a question. There's our Twitter bio has it at Mail-In Podcast, or so does our Instagram at Mail-In Podcast. So hop on there, leave a question, and get it answered. Ready to go, so?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Hey, guys. My boyfriend of 1 year has questionable style. Think sport Oakleys as his daily sunglasses, dad sneakers, and graphic t-shirts that have cheesy phrases or designs. When he dresses up, he wears golf attire or jeans, boots, and button-downs, which I can live with. However, the daily style, I'm not a fan of. How do I nicely recommend more stylish items without hurting his feelings, like even just jeans with a plain t-shirt that I'd be more of a fan of? He's in dad mode, man.
It's the conundrum that every girl has when they start dating someone seriously. Usually this this is more of a problem when guys are like late 20s, like they still like have kind of their college style and they like now are living alone. They're like, mom doesn't buy them clothes anymore. But also they like
we run shirts into the ground
enough to like
same boxers for like 7 years kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I definitely have shirts from college.
Couple things. Number one, like start buying him clothes.
Yeah.
I got you the shirt. I got you this XYZ for your birthday, etc. Personally, I think honesty is best. I told Will straight up, like 2 months into dating, I was like, that's ugly. Don't like croquis. Stop wearing that.
I think it's better to be like, I don't like this than going and buying something that you do like and like surprising him with it. Because every time I've had somebody buy a shirt for me, I've been like, I don't think I look good in that. I don't like that. And I don't wear it. And then it hurts her feelings. I'd rather be like, or her be like, either I don't like this, or if you're, a year in or married or something like serious, stuff starts to disappear.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
And then once it disappears, it's like, okay, well, now there's a need to buy new stuff and go with him and encourage him and be like, you can point stuff out. I kind of like where this is going, and maybe draw away from like the life is good graphic tee.
Are you telling her to throw away his stuff by disappear?
I'm just saying one, not half your closet at once, but something you really don't like. Oh yeah, I think I shrunk that in the wash. I had to throw it away.
Here's a couple things. Number one, I agree with you. I meant more in the sense of like, buy them small things, just start phasing stuff
Plain
out.
t-shirts.
Yeah. Go shopping with them. Mm-hmm. Talk to them about what you're looking at. Like, you would look great in this. Why don't you try this on? And then just straight up honesty. Like, yeah, we can't be doing Oakleys anymore. That's not a good look.
M frames with dad sneakers and graphic tees. I want to meet this guy.
I'm now realizing, like, probably about a year into dating, I accidentally left a lip gloss in one of my scrub pants pockets that I like threw in the laundry with
and it
a lot of Will's clothes.
Just tore it to pieces.
And ruined a lot of his clothes, which thankfully, literally, like he immediately took from the dryer, I think, and took to the dry cleaner, and they were got a lot of it out. That was a
that's
big
good.
bill for me. But you could say throw a lip gloss in there, a tinted lip balm, see what happens.
Just hypothetically.
Hypothetically, if you wanted to do that. No, honestly, I think honesty's key here, because the more that you are with this person, like the more you're able to communicate about stuff like this. Just be like, hey, like I think you should, and you don't have to be like, what you're wearing is ugly and like stop wearing that. Be like, I think you look so good in this, like pick out like whatever it is that he wears, like your blue linen shirt. Like we should get more of those for you this summer.
Shoot, jeans, boots, and a button down. That's a great fit right there. And you don't need to course correct them 9 clicks, to Fashion Warehouse. Like, let's just a couple. Like, let's get, instead of the Oakley M frames, we grab a pair of Ray-Bans, and instead of the dad sneakers, we grab a pair of like Vans or New Balance, just something that's maybe Adidas, like something just a couple clicks off where he's normally at. And then you sort of go from there with it.
You got to tailor your plan though, depending on how much of a simp he is for you. Because if he's a simp,
he'll just change immediately.
Are we still using the word simp? But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like
if he's like a puppy love.
If he's gonna just defer to you anyway, just get rid of stuff and buy him new stuff.
Yeah. Or if he is like zero care in the world about this stuff, then I think you just change the whole.
Will's wardrobe like naturally changed from moving from Michigan to Texas, so that kind of did the work for me. And I didn't have, but Will's opinionated. So like, I think if I would have said up front, like that's hideous, I did later tell him that I did not like his croquis. And then I actually turned around a couple years later and I was like, I actually do like those. But I think like whenever I tell him like, nah, that's not my favorite, he's like, I don't care. And I'm kind of the same way. Like I try stuff on for him. And he's like, that's not my vibe. I'm like, not wearing it for you.
Yeah. I think there's kind of a spectrum where there's stuff that you wear it no matter what. There's stuff that he's going to wear it no matter what. And then there's like a middle ground where you're kind of like, like I could throw this out, or you like this, I'll put it on, kind of there's like ends of it.
So you just got to know where he's at on that spectrum. And then like, is the positive reinforcement from things you like going to help? Or is like ruining his clothes with like an errant lip balm going to be what you have to do?
Yeah, exactly.
In general, I'm just going to say, don't like throw away his stuff and like purposely destroy it. I think that's kind of bad.
Randy, I'm definitely kidding about purposely destroying.
Brett wasn't. So
I think you can get away with an errant that Matt Nathanson band T-shirt.
I have never gotten rid of any of Will's clothes without permission, but we have gone like, hey, let's do a spring clean.
Let's do it.
And then like, you never like, I don't think you need to keep this. It's got like pit stains.
Yeah. I don't know how to do laundry well.
I think
it's my biggest flaw.
For me, the biggest thing is I think go shopping with him and then, try things on. Cause like Brett said, if someone buys me something and I don't like it, like I'm going to feel guilty. But if you're at the store together and can try on multiple things, he has at least an opinion saying, I really don't like this. I'm not going to wear it.
Yeah.
So that's a good way to do it. Make a thing. And you know what? Treat us like a princess. You buy him the shirt.
Ooh,
he'll feel good about that.
And long as he likes the shirt, don't buy it just to be like, I think you would look good in this. And because chances are he's not going to like it.
And this is you're thinking about this, I think, from just a you and him situation. There's a way to get different opinions out there. One, get his boys to trash him. If his boys start trashing him on some of his clothes, he'll stop wearing them. And if you really want to do a little manipulation here, Brett, this is for you. If you guys are out at a bar, you just like go up to a random girl, a random guy and say, hey, like, can you just randomly go up to my boyfriend and say, dude, love the shirt, in a passing by? Because let me tell you, as a guy, if we get a compliment on a shirt one time in our life, that is our shirt for the rest of our fucking lives.
I don't hate that.
If you get one random compliment.
I do love getting like a compliment on my my outfits. Everybody's like, oh, brick this, brick that. I don't break many fits.
Like
Randy.
I remember I showed up to class in college one day wearing like this mint green shirt, and like a lot of my classmates were like, dude, that's a good color on you. It looks good. I'm like, I didn't even do anything. I'm like, but this is my shirt for the rest of college.
I do that with
go
like
get your colors done now.
Maybe
Sally's water bottle, like that corally salmon color,
if you will.
I have like 3 or 4 polos that are like that shade or one off of that, and t-shirts the same way, or like bright white because I'm I need to look a little more tan than I am, Sally.
Mhm.
So,
But yeah, random compliment will make a guy's day, and that will change his wardrobe for sure.
you know
Also-
what you can immortalize
Fits.
fits? How about an aura frame? What do you get the man who already has everything or says he doesn't need anything? Skip the ties. Get your dad something he'll actually love. An aura digital frame. Randy and I can't really speak to this, Sally, but you were to buy your dad a Father's Day present this year.
Or frame.
How about an aura frame?
For sure.
For sure. He's a man that seems like if he wants something, he kind of gets it.
That's the worst part about buying gifts for your parent. And honestly, at this point, like, I'm not even getting my dad a Father's Day gift. I mean, we are, but like as a group, you know, because he also already has an aura frame, so I can't get him that.
Well, yeah.
But Will is like proving really impossible to buy a gift for because he
Okay.
does get everything he wants.
Yeah.
And really pulling the sentimental card is always going to like work in your favor.
For sure.
So you getting the frame, loading it up with a bunch of pictures of the kids. No, even if he hated it, which he won't, because we already have several in our house. No one's going to be like upset that they have photos of their kids.
Mhm.
Also, back to the last question, you could just get an aura frame for your boyfriend and then literally load it up with pictures where he looks good in certain clothes, just subliminal
Ooh,
messaging.
subliminal. I like that.
Yeah.
There's unlimited storage. You can add as many photos, videos, and funny memes as you can find. And it's so simple to set up. Just plug it in and share away. For the guy who swore he didn't need anything, let the aura frame prove him wrong. Aura has a great deal for Father's Day. For a limited time, listeners can save on the perfect gift by visiting auraframes.com to get $30 off on their best-selling Carver matte frame. That's AURA frames.com. Promo code MAILIN. Support the show by mentioning us at checkout. Again, promo code MAILIN. Terms and conditions apply.
I have literally never thought about sharing memes to that
Me neither.
until you said it. And I was like, that's actually something I would do for my dad because my dad is like the king of like an email chain thread, like dumb joke thing. He like loves those.
That was
The
like
original meme, the OG meme.
The OG meme. Then they went to Facebook.
Yeah.
Was where all our parents and their friends post memes now.
He would be delighted if I just loaded that thing
Loaded up with a
memes.
meme.
That's going to be what I get him.
Do you want to do number 2?
Yeah. Hi, Brett, Sally, and Randy. 2-part question, mostly for Sal Gal. I was invited to a bachelorette party at the end of July. I'll be 3 months postpartum, first baby by the bachelorette, who is also breastfeeding and pumping. I think that's what she's meaning.
Yeah. She's like, she's still breastfeeding and pumping.
The bachelorette is.
Yeah.
Okay. The bachelorette party is in Vegas, which is a 2.5-hour plane ride from me. My husband will care for our baby at home, feeling torn on if I should go, as the only person I know is the bride, and I don't really feel ready to leave my baby. People keep telling me that I'll, quote, need a break by the end of July, but I currently don't feel that way and feel guilty spending any time away from my baby before I resume work in September. Second part, if I do go, what are the 30-year-old moms in Vegas wearing? Last time I went to Vegas, I was 21 and wearing Lulu's club clothes. Do you know what Lulu's is?
I have no idea.
Lulu's is like an online retailer. I'm assuming that they are still
Not Lululemon, right?
not Lululemon.
Okay.
It was like a little bit better than a Forever 21,
Mm-hmm.
but like all club clothes. And they had a lot of like a big influencer push, like early on in influencers. Like, and I'm talking like Pinterest levels, like not even Instagram.
So like we're rocking it like in
You
college,
get like
college in 2012. It's like
Yes.
Lulu's is dominating
like
the scene.
so many of the bachelorette contestants
Mm-hmm.
or bachelor contestants were wearing like Lulu's dresses.
Okay.
You could get like for $30.
Got it.
Probably made by some Bangladesh kid, you know?
Right. Yeah. That doesn't exactly scream like made in the USA.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. I am inclined to say don't go. Like if you already feel like you don't want to go, I wouldn't put pressure on yourself to go because other people think that you're going to want to be away from your child. I also had a lot of postpartum anxiety about leaving my kid, and especially at the end when I was like getting ready to go back to work. So you're going to be a month out and like, I don't know. It feels like why like push it and make it complicated when you already know how you're going to feel. You have a good
'Cause
excuse. You have
part of you, even if you do go, you're not like, you're going to be thinking, like, you're not going to be like in the moment, right? You're going to be thinking about what's going on at home. You're thinking about your baby. You're not going to exactly be in the mindset to have a blast in Las Vegas.
Right. You're still going to be, I think she's saying that she's breastfeeding.
Yeah.
And pumping, but I thought she was saying the bachelorette.
No. I think she's saying by the time of the bachelorette party.
Yeah. Let me just say, pumping is not for the faint of heart, and it can really take a mental and physical toll, especially when you are doing it on a trip that no one else is doing it on.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'm trying to think. I have been on several group trips where like I was the only one pumping, and you have to like leave every 3 to 4 hours to like go do that and sit by yourself. And like even when people are like, I'll come sit with you, and then no one does that, and then you're by yourself like texting and then like looking at pictures of your baby and crying. It's like I just think that's a lot to take on, and it's definitely a lot to take on in Vegas, where it's like different if you're going on like a girls' beach weekend and you have a house that you can like easily like walk straight into.
And it's going to be more of a low key, like, oh, we're just going to hang by the pool.
Right. And like everyone's like playing mahjong. You like leave that to go inside and like pump for 20 minutes. Like this is like you're at like fucking Marshmallow at like XS, and you have to like leave the club to like go pump. It's also like you're pretty early on into pumping, and likely if you are on maternity leave, you're not like, most people aren't like pumping till they're going back to work. So you're gonna have to like learn how to pump, not learn, but like create a routine, etc. Travel back with all the milk, find a place to store the milk. I mean, yes, it's definitely worth it to pump for your child if that's like what you want to do. And that there are companies that have made it easier, and a lot of hotels and things like that are more accommodating to like freezing your breast milk. But like I actually, now I'm remembering, I went on my sister-in-law's bachelorette party while I was pumping. And thankfully my other sister was like pregnant. And so she was like, obviously not drinking. So it made it a little bit easier, but like we were around a bunch of like younger girls that had I been by myself and be like, this sucks. And because you're only friends with the bride, it's not like you can like pull her away to be like, hey, come talk to me while I pump.
Yeah. She's going to be like doing her thing. And
yeah,
I tend to agree with, I see where like people are coming from. Like, oh my God, like your child will be fine for 2 days or whatever it is. And I get that. And you will need a break, I'm sure. But I think the anxiety that you'll feel, all of the logistics that you mentioned, probably not time to go to Vegas.
And everyone's different. But like if you already have anxiety about it now, it's probably not going to get better.
Yeah.
That being said, if you decide to go,
what are the 30-year-old moms wearing in Vegas?
Now they're just buying shit from Revolve.
Revolve.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that where you shop, Randy?
No.
Okay.
I will say we were in Vegas at the Fontainebleau like a month ago, a little less than a month ago. That was like my biggest concern. It's like, what the fuck do I wear to a club? Because also we went to the club and I did not drink anything except for a single tequila shot.
Oh my God. Why?
Because I was like, I don't want to drink. I'm like pretty tired. And
is there something you need to tell us, Sally?
And then they were like, the Don Julio people were like, you want a shot? And I was like, well, I can't turn down the shot. So now I have to take the shot. So I took a shot, but literally drank just water the whole time. Wow. It's just not my scene anymore.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
I feel like at clubs, not clubs, but like hotel pools and beaches, like I feel like there's a whole, what used to be more of a functional item, of course I'm referring to the bikini cover-up, has now become like a fashion staple. Like cover-up fashion has gone from very limited options to like, that's a whole ass outfit right now.
Yeah. I mean,
and you can also wear them to like clubs.
I literally wore the exact same skirt to the club and then to David Guetta like 2 days later.
Love it.
I don't know what to tell you. Bandage dresses are not in. I wouldn't.
Bandage dresses?
Bandage dresses. Do you
What's
remember
that?
bandage dresses? The ones that were like suctioned and they had like big, like swaths of bandage fabric that were like suction you in. All the Kardashians would wear them.
No.
Hervé Leger. Ringing a bell? No?
Nope.
Randy, look up a bandage dress.
He's the dress guy.
A sundress like this?
That's not a sundress. It is a bandage dress. Yes, that's a bandage dress.
I would call that a mini.
That's hervé
mini
léger.
skirt. I would call that
No,
a mini
that's
skirt.
a bandage dress because it was like suction fabric. We would fucking wear the shit out of those.
Yeah, I mean
And now,
those. Yeah.
What website is that?
Rent the Runway.
Okay, yeah, Rent the Runway. Actually, Rent the Runway, like free pub for them. Great option to do if you something like that. If you don't want to buy a Vegas dress and you'd rather just rent one.
Okay, Hervé Léger and Rent the Runway is where you should go.
I'm not saying you should wear Hervé Léger.
Oh, okay.
Revolve is like my go-to though for stuff like that.
Okay.
Yeah,
I love it.
Yeah, I think I did the math too. If you're going to be postpartum in end of July, that means 3 months ago.
Randy's going to mansplain.
That means your first baby was just in May. So congrats. Big congrats. You just had the baby. I guess.
Had the baby. Yeah, congratulations.
But I agree. I mean, usually I'm a make it happen and go on the trip, but like you're going to know one person, you're not feeling it. And also financially, like save the money too. I'm on team. Don't go to this.
This is the rare 3-0 don't go.
Yeah.
Usually I feel like we're more of
Brett's
the,
like, yeah, you should
I'm
go.
like
I'm like
the go, enjoy, live life. This one I'm like, I don't think you'll have a blast.
No. I think at most you're just the person writing in is just like, I don't want to feel guilty like missing my friend's bachelorette party, but I think you don't want to go. Don't go. Have fun at the wedding.
Yeah, save your energy for the wedding there. But do attend that. Next one, Sal?
Yeah, that's all you.
All me. Hey, Melon. My husband and I are going on a trip without our son this summer for 10 days. My in-laws are going to be watching him, and they're super attentive, so excited about that. However, their house is not toddler-proofed. They also have a pool and go over to cousins' homes with pools that do not have a fence. This has made me extremely paranoid about my son, who is 1.5, being left alone or something else happening. I've left him for trips before, but not with my in-laws for this amount of time. How can I nicely prep my in-laws to be extremely focused on my son, especially around the pool? Also, how can I prep myself for being gone? I don't want to spend my trip glued to our Nanit app or staying up picturing the worst. Thank you in advance.
Okay.
Clonopin.
Will and I left Fritz. How old was he? I can't remember if he was 1.5.
Okay.
He was 1.5 when we went to Italy for 10 days.
Mm-hmm.
And Will's parents watched him. His mom watched him the whole time, and his dad was there for part of the time. And then Will's cousin. Thank you, Nancy, for doing that. Also, it helped that I had a nanny who was there during the day that like was able to answer questions if they needed anything. So if you don't have a nanny, or like maybe your kid goes to daycare or something, like have someone, like have a trusted list of contacts that's of like, hey, you can call. And even if you're like taking him to the in-laws and maybe they are out of town, like I have friends who do that, like drop their kids off in Dallas or whatever. But have a list of people that they can call, like your mom or your best friend or your sister or somebody who like knows the schedule and like knows what you would say. You know what I'm saying? So if like there's a easy question of like, hey, like he's like really freaking out and we can't find his passy. Like, what should we do?
Have an advocate.
So that they don't have to call you with like every single minutia thing. Another important thing is like, and do this now while you have time, not like the day before, but like start building out the daily schedule and like leave a document. I know that sounds like really type A and psycho, but like the more you type out, the better you'll feel, even if they like fully ignore it. But like get all of your stuff together of like pediatrician's numbers, like, you know, what hospital contact if they need it, like neighbors, friends, etc., of like who to call, and then like a full schedule of like, okay, 6 to 7, he wakes up, we like have breakfast, he watches a show for 30 minutes, then like plan out every second of the day. And here's what I'm gonna tell you. Some mother-in-laws are going to be like, this bitch psycho. That's okay because it's your kid and you're allowed to act however you want. And on the flip side, they're also allowed to ignore it.
But you're right. I think it'll feel better for you if you know you have like all of your thoughts are on, so that you put them somewhere versus keeping them
The
locked
important
up.
thing too is because it's not your mom and it's your mother-in-law, I think it's important for your partner to like really hammer like, hey, you should stick to the schedule, because if you don't, like this child's going to turn into like a psychopath come 5 p.m., which is like, once they let it happen one time, they'll stick to the schedule. Let me just tell you. And then finally, as far as the pool stuff it goes, I can't speak to that because we don't have like a pool in our backyard and have never like left our kid where a pool was. My parents have a pool, but our kids have never stayed at my parents' house. Like my parents have always come and stayed with our kids at our house. One thing that you might want to consider is now, and most pools are like this now anyway, for pools that are built recently because of all these codes that you have to fulfill, like code obligations, but you can buy like mesh fences that can go up around the pool.
Yeah.
It might be worth looking into getting one of those.
Just, like an Amazon purchase that you can pretty much put up.
That you basically like put up this mesh thing that they have to like unlock. And that'll give you some peace of mind. Another thing you can do is like put door alarms on, but like whatever it is that like you would want if that was at your house, like spring for the home improvement. You're not paying for childcare for 10 days while they're gone. So if you need to pay a few $100s to like put a mesh fence up around this person's pool, then do that.
Yeah, I don't think you need to baby proof every single corner of the house or your in-laws' place.
Right.
But a couple things here and there that would serve your peace of mind while you're over there probably go a long way.
Like go ahead of time and like just do a sweep of like the room that they're going to be staying in and the pool and like things that you can like easily fix. But like at the same time, like Will's parents, when we go over there, or like my parents mostly come to my house, but like they start putting stuff up because kids are getting over and like slamming stuff off of the coffee table. And after like the third time when something breaks, it's like, okay, well now we got to like take it off the table.
Yeah, we're going to take matters into our own hands now.
Also remember, like it's super normal and okay to have anxiety about this. Like you're leaving your kid. A lot of moms have anxiety about their kids postpartum and then like throughout their life. That's just the 18 plus year roller coaster we all get to be on together. But remember that your mother-in-law and your father-in-law like raised your husband and he is not like, like he turned out fine. You clearly married him. Like that's always like important for me. And I am like, I would never leave my kid with somebody that I was like, if they got in over their heads, they wouldn't call for help. You know what I'm saying? Like I always knew that like my mom or Nancy or whatever would, or like my sisters would be like, okay, if this is something like that's out of my depth, I'll just call for help.
Totally. Your in-laws will do that.
And then you watch the Nana and then you have to shove your husband and be like, hey, can you text your mom? Because he just like dropped him in the crib on his head.
What's the Nana?
Nana is a baby camera.
Got it. Okay.
So it's like accessible via Wi-Fi. So like I can like log in right now and see Charlie on our Nana.
Just chilling.
Well, like probably not right now because he's probably not in his room. But like if I wanted to, hypothetically.
Nice. I think good for you guys for going on the trip. Anxiety-wise, you'll feel it. There are things for that. But I think the setup you have here is going to be great, right?
Oh, I'm going to mention one more thing. This is actually an idea I stole from somebody else. But at 1.5 years old, they still are going to they're going to know you're gone, but they're going to be like sad immediately. And then they're going to be totally fine. But something that we do for our kids now when we travel, especially on long trips, is I make like a book. I just go get like a literal like presentation booklet that has clear sleeves and make it myself. But you could go through some sort of printing company and it's like, Mom and Dad are going on a trip. And then we say like, we're going to so-and-so. Well, like we did this when we went to Italy for Harry's wedding. It was like, we're going to Italy for Uncle Harry's wedding and we're all going to be there, but we'll FaceTime you and you're going to be staying with their nanny and you're going to go to school and you're going to do this. And then you're going to go to bed and then we're going to come back in a couple of days. We love you so much. Like make a book that shows that like, you're going to be gone. This person's going to be taking care of them. This is what the routine's going to look like.
Kind of like walk them through it.
And then they can read that to the kid every day. And it like gives them something to look forward to. Like Fritz like loved looking at the pictures of us. And it like reinforced like, okay, what's happening now. We're not home, but it's okay.
Mhm.
You're okay and safe, and we will come home.
And this is like, it's probably a good thing for the kid to reference. Like,
Oh yeah. Fritz still reads some of them. He's like, let's
that's
read
a
the
cool
trip
idea.
book. I'm like, okay, well, we're not going on a trip. He's like, I want to read it. And I'm like, okay,
Okay,
great.
Here we go.
Because kids love looking at pictures of like their family and stuff.
Mm,
So that's
cool.
a great thing to do for any parent, but an idea that I stole.
I like that. You know what else kids might love? What about Green Chef?
Honestly, you should just send Green Chef to your in-laws so that you can like at least take care of groceries for them.
For basically
meals.
for a week, they'd be good to go.
Yeah.
Rocking some Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating clean, delivering pre-portioned and prepped quality whole foods with limited processed ingredients. They send organic, fresh produce, responsibly sourced proteins, and chef-designed recipes in every box for satisfying, nourishing, and convenient meals that make it easy to stick to a clean eating routine. This year, you're going to ditch the fads. We're going to create healthier eating habits that last with real clean foods. They make it easy with recipes curated for a variety of lifestyles and dietary needs. I'm been on a bit of a health journey, health kick.
Got to
Probably
get
the
that
last-
inflammation in your shoulder down.
Couple months. Oh yeah. Oh, inflammation. I am anti-inflammatory right now based on my diet. Although nightshades are tough. I love nightshades,
Yeah.
which some people say they're inflammatory. Tom Brady being one of them. I disagree. I think they're very good. I don't have anything to back that up. But Green Chef is here for you. You know what's on the menu this week, Sal?
Hit me.
Let me pull it up here because I have already gone through my Green Chef for this week. So I'm looking at what else is on the menu. How about some spiced pork tacos with pineapple salsa? Have you had those? Delightful.
Yeah.
Delightful. Some tropical shrimp and bacon rice bowls.
We're really getting tropical this week, huh?
Oh, we're getting tropical.
We're embracing summer.
Man, jealous.
They have a little mushroom and Swiss burger situation too.
Delightful.
Mouth watering. Maybe you go with some sweet chili garlic tilapia over a bed of rice. How about that?
Sounds great.
Green Chef is the best. They have given me the tools to be my own boss in the kitchen. I love cooking where I never did and I didn't love it. Green Chef has literally changed my life because I cook for myself now and I cook much healthier. So thrive all year with clean, easy meals from Green Chef. Go to greenchef.com/mailfree and use code mailfree to get started with free salads for 2 months plus 50% off your first box. Again, that is greenchef.com/mailfree and use code mailfree to get started with free salads for 2 months plus 50% off your first box. Green Chef, the #1 meal kit for eating well.
Mailing crew, I have a question about a +1 etiquette for a flyaway wedding. Is that like a destination wedding?
Come fly away. Let's fly.
That's what that
let's
means,
fly
right?
away.
I'm assuming.
Okay.
I'll
You remember
look
that
it
cruise
up.
commercial, Randy?
Okay.
Fly away.
That's a no. That's a no.
I have been dating this girl for 7 weeks. In roughly 7 weeks from now, one of my college roommates is getting married on the other side of the country, and I will be officiating the wedding. I have a +1 and would like my girlfriend to come. However, is it too soon to expect her to fly across the country to a wedding where she won't know anybody or will even I will be tied up for parts of the wedding? If not too soon, I feel like I can't expect her to pay for the trip. I've never had a girlfriend go to a flyaway wedding with me, so I'm not sure what is customary. Do I pay for her trip or does she cover it with the understanding that I'll be paying to go to her friends' weddings in the future? If helpful context, we both make around the same amount of money. I make enough to where I could technically afford to pay for her, but I don't make so much where I could just absorb it and not alter my spending for the next month or two. Bear in mind, we've only been dating for 7 weeks. So it's not like this is a long-term girlfriend yet. Would love to hear your thoughts. Thank you. 7
I
weeks
have-
feels soon.
That feels soon for a flyaway, like meet my friends and
Okay,
some
we're
of your
talking
best friends,
destination or like
destination.
out of York City
Yeah.
wedding.
I looked it up. Flyaway just means destination wedding.
Okay.
Okay.
So if we're talking agreed too soon,
Yeah.
like maybe you bring it up jokingly, and if she was like, "Oh my god, yeah, I would love to," it's a different story.
So-
but I think it's like it's certainly too soon to expect her to go.
This is interesting because I have 2 examples of when
I
Will
do
and I
too.
first started
I do
dating
too. Where I'm like,
where
went
I
on a
went to
trip.
one and then he didn't come to another one.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah,
Will
yeah.
and I literally went to, okay, actually,
Wasn't that like 2 weeks into dating?
Will and I had
It was
met
family
in
wedding.
person. And then 3 weeks later, I was in a wedding that all of my sisters were in.
Right.
So he showed up to the wedding, having met my family the night before at the rehearsal dinner.
Oh boy.
And like only was like with my sister's boyfriend, like at the wedding, because we were all in the wedding, and also had to take part in like a impromptu Beyonce flash mob dance.
Oh, okay.
Then 2 weeks after that, I flew to Michigan and met his entire group of friends, did not know anybody, and went to a wedding with him there that he was in, and like met his parents for the first time. But then I just hit the microphone. I'm sorry. That was all like May, June. And then I was in a wedding in September in Aspen that he did not come with me to because I had already invited someone to come with me. And arguably looking back on that now, should have disinvited that person and had Will come with me. I will admit my mistake there.
Okay.
Will still brings that up when we get a little cheeky with each other.
Yeah.
So I can't really say with a straight face 7 weeks is too soon because we had literally seen each other for 3 weeks.
Yeah.
But
I can't,
to be fair, we'd been talking on the phone and FaceTime for 4 weeks before that.
Okay.
So 7 weeks total.
7 weeks, yeah.
I
think 7 weeks
did
is right
apply
around
to be his wedding date in a joking post on Sunday Scaries.
I need to know are we talking to like dating 7 weeks? Or are we talking like
you made it official 7 weeks ago.
7 weeks ago? Because I think that could be very different. Like how long have you known this person?
Here's my whole point about me like jokingly being like this is too fast and then laying my whole history out there. You know when you just know,
you kind of got to feel this one out. I totally agree.
I think that there's people that you're like, we're going to be in a serious relationship.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not the person you're going to marry, but you're like, we're about to like date real hard for at least several years.
Yeah.
If you already feel like that about this person, then like, yeah.
Bring it up.
But here's the other thing. What if the question asker feels like that about everyone? You know, like with Will.
Yeah, who would do that?
Oh, wow. That was so great. Will and I both felt that way about each other. And it was like the first time we felt that way, you know? But Will was also my first boyfriend. So like, you okay over there? You good?
I'm great.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I'll be the pessimist here. No, don't.
Hold on. Here's what I'll say. If you're going to do it, which I think I kind of agree with Sally, when you know, like you kind of feel like, if you feel like it would be fun to bring up and even broach, bring it up. And see, maybe catch her temperature on it first. But if you're going to, and she's like, yeah, I'm down, that would be fun. I think what you do is you pay for the accommodations. Like it's your buddy.
Yeah.
You cover the hotel room. I think it's cool to, not cool. I think it could be expected. Like she's going to get her flight, unless it's like if it's a destination, if we're talking like going to Houston.
I agree with you. Let her, kind of catch her temperature of like, if you want to go, like, I'll pay for the room, whatever.
Room for sure. And like probably most things.
Or even offer to split the flights with her.
And flight is going to be like, if we're talking like $1,200 to Italy, that's a pretty
okay. Like he said cross country. So I'm hoping this is like a New York to California situation. So like
$400 to $600.
7 weeks in, I think like going international is a
lot.
Is a lot.
Let's say it's
me.
a far enough away flight domestically that it's like a 2 and a 3 hour flight.
Yeah.
I think in there's a neighborhood price wise, but she gets the flight, you get pretty much everything else.
Yeah.
And that's fair.
And you can even offer to
split something,
I literally
use some points up.
Oh, I like when I went to that wedding with Will, I was like, cool. Let me know when you book my flight. Here's my date of birth.
Yeah.
And I think he like fully went broke for it. Like he wasn't making that much money then.
He knew.
Yeah.
Okay, you want me to be the pessimist here?
Yeah, be the pessimist to our two rom-com enthusiasts over here.
A couple things I would like to know that are unclear about here. When is the wedding? Like
he said it's 7 weeks from now.
Okay, 7 weeks.
We're at the halfway point of their supposed relationship at the wedding.
Yeah. So one, I feel like RSVP is already in. Like, so you'd have to like.
But
talk
he
to
probably
your friend.
said like he got
He's
a plus
got the
one,
in,
and he
'cause
already
he's-
he's also
because he's the
officiating.
officiated. That
Yeah.
makes sense.
So he's
All right.
if anybody has a leash to be like, hey, I'm going to activate that +1 real quick. He probably has it.
And I would like to know what you said. Is 7 weeks meaning that they've been official for 7 weeks, or
like
did they go on their
matched
first
on
date
Hinge
7 weeks ago?
Yeah.
And if that's the case, Hinge, the first date 7 weeks ago, I think
That's quick.
No, I think if it's a local wedding, you have more like, yeah, try it. But I mean, this is a lot.
Make a point really fast?
Yeah.
Maybe if he's officiating the wedding, he's clearly boys
Totally.
or best friends with the wife, whoever. He's best friends with somebody in the couple.
Mm-hmm.
It is probably worth like asking them straight up, like, I need you to be really honest with me. Are you okay if I bring so-and-so? Because getting their opinion, like they might be like, yeah, I don't know. Like that's totally fine. But like I went to that wedding with Will, absolutely got blasted the first night at the rehearsal dinner. And like, they were like, the couple who were like, obviously friends now, were like, what? Really? You chose to bring her? Like, she's a total disaster. Thankfully, to like another person's +1 way outdid me the next day. So like it made me look better.
Okay.
In hindsight. But they were probably like, cool, it's our wedding. And like this girl, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even if she doesn't get blasted at the rehearsal dinner, like it pulls focus. So I think it's worth bringing it up to your friends and being like, hey, I really want you to like shoot me absolutely honest. Because it's like, this is your day that you're going to remember forever.
And you haven't met this girl yet.
And you haven't met her. Like, I don't want to cause strife or stress or whatever. And if that's going to cause that, then like,
it's an easy
decision made for you.
Yeah,
Totally.
he does say in this that he says my girlfriend. So maybe he does mean that they have been official for 7 weeks. And if that is the case, and you really do want to introduce yourself, I'm more on board with that than
we matched on Hinge 7 weeks ago.
Right. And if you're like,
so if
this is the girl, if you're like, this is the girl I think I'm going to end up with, then I think you have, like you said, just you go to the friend and be like, hey, this is one that I'd like you to meet. She's special.
Well, and if there's any hesitation, like your friend's like, yeah, I'm cool with it, but like Sarah, the bride, is like pretty annoyed. Then, like I'd be like, oh, okay, cool.
Shut it down. Yep. Okay. No problem. We'll meet at some point. Whatever.
Yeah.
Okay. I like it. I think we got to the bottom of that.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Good luck. Hi. My girlfriend and I have been together for a while and talking about marriage and kids and have been looking forward to both. My nephew is a few months old and has a rare genetic disease, and from what I've read, will have a difficult life that won't be very long. I see how it's affecting my brother and his family, and now I'm second guessing having children. I don't want the relationship to end, but I fear that not having children would be a deal breaker.
Sad one here.
First of all, I'm
sorry
about your nephew, and that is like really heartbreaking. Yeah. And I think when it's hard to be an observer of that. It's obviously hard to go through it personally, but like to be at a personal level enough where it's like not actually happening to you, but it is like you affecting what you're seeing, and like you're seeing the toll it's taking on your brother, et cetera, can be really difficult to and really shape how you feel. I think it's important to not let these things in isolation shape what your decisions on children are, if that makes sense.
Totally.
You know, like if you were already iffy about kids and then this happened and you're like, this kind of confirms how I feel, versus like you were like, yeah, let's have kids, and then or have always like been like, I'll have a kid, and now I'm seeing this and like really struggling with the prospect of having kids, then I would suggest like giving yourself some time to explore that more, if that makes sense. Having children is not without risk. I think we all know that. And then once they're born, there's also a myriad of other things. I mean, we were talking about the anxiety that comes with being a mom or dad the second that you bring them into the world. I want to make sure that I state, even though I'm a very anxious person, that we can't let our anxieties like rule our entire lives.
Totally agree.
So even though I am always like a worst case scenario thinking person. You can't like that is what my therapist would say, like letting your anxiety win, right? Like,
and
as
not somebody who lets their anxiety win often, it's miserable. But
right. But that being said, if you were already like pretty iffy on the thought of having children and now are experiencing this and are like, this really confirms that, then I think that that's something that you should share with your partner. All that being said, that may be a deal breaker for her. Like,
right. I totally agree. I was kind of going to look at this from like a practical standpoint. Like, are there things you can do genetically to check to see what your level of like carrier in XYZ gene is in a situation like this? Like, if we were to have children, X% is the probability that we will pass something on, or or are we carrying this? Are we not carrying this? Like, I think there's a lot of that you can do thanks to modern medicine prior to
so because we're highly anxious people, and I'm the type of person who like knowledge is power, and the more I know, like the better I'm able to like settle my mind. I totally agree with that. You now I'm forgetting what the test is called, but it's not like the NIPT test, which is the test you take when you're like between 10 and 12 weeks pregnant to see if there was a genetic abnormality. It's like each of you, it's carrier testing. So you each do blood work, you each figure out if you're a carrier of something, and then like say, I did it, I'm not a carrier for anything. So then Will and I were already married and had already had one child by the time we did the carrier testing. But because I was not a carrier for anything, Will didn't have to do it because it wouldn't get passed on. But then my sisters each are a carrier for something, so their partners had to do it, and their partners, like one of them is a carrier for something, but it doesn't match up.
Got it.
So like if you're both a carrier for like sickle cell or like cystic fibrosis or something like that, then you can go through genetic counseling. And then usually through that, say you're both a carrier for something, then one of the steps sometimes people take is like, okay, well then like, let's do IVF, make embryos, test the embryos for this, et cetera.
Yeah. There's things, I mean, it takes a lot of time and resources and things like that, but there are ways, I think, to at the very least check or sort of chart.
And that's all saying these are like hereditary disorders. It sounds like what happened to his nephew is just a straight up genetic mutation, which is just a one in a good exactly chance. So then again, knowledge being power, like educating yourself of like how rare certain diseases are, how often people have a normal pregnancy with a healthy baby, et cetera, like might help. It also might help to like be frank with your brother and be like, how has this affected like your like desire to like have future children, like et cetera. Like talking to somebody else that is in your position or close to the situation that's not your partner could be helpful.
Yeah, I shoot anybody, therapist or friend, or just like kind of use somebody as a sounding board. Because I can't imagine you're like, oh, I don't want to do that to my partner. I don't want to do that to my future child. If I have one, if I go down that road, it's like chances are you won't. There are ways to mitigate that risk. One being not having children, one being leaving it to chance and hoping for the best, and one being all the testing we've been talking about. But like, I think you can talking this out versus being like, I'm just good right off the rip would probably be where I would go with it.
Yeah. Having worked alongside children with genetic disorders that were fatal, in those families, it's interesting to watch because normally the like reaction to that is like, I'm so thankful for the family you have. Let's have more kids, et cetera, et cetera. And it's also interesting because like now, like having been around all that was never really something that was on my radar or I was even worried about.
Sure. Yeah.
Like the more anxiety that I have as a parent is like, did I bring someone into a world that like is arguably going to be very different from what I grew up with? Or like, is it like, are we, like is climate change gonna, it's like
the
real
the
existential stuff versus like, I knew the risk genetically
versus
of like what was going to go on.
Be messed up?
And the risk of, 1 in 4 pregnancies and a miscarriage. Like I knew all of those risks.
Sure.
It wasn't that's like made me hit pause on becoming a parent. It was like a bunch of other, like, again, anxieties that like are sitting in the back of your head. Like, oh, like what if one day like
2050 rolls around and,
or like my kid like dies in a car accident or something, like really like
just the existential human stuff.
It's just normal anxiety stuff that I had to be like, okay, granted, this person's situation is really situational, but I think it's worth really exploring like how you felt about kids beforehand. How much of this is like you projecting what you already felt on a situation, and then also really like taking a chance to be like, okay, like, am I really concerned about like this specific genetic disorder or genetic disorders in general, or like just the full spectrum of having kids? And kind of pinpointing those things will like give you a better grasp of, one, if you want to have kids or not, and also like how to articulate that to your partner of like, hey, I know you want kids, but like I'm really concerned about these things. And then figuring out what your options are, right?
Man, sorry to end on a downer of a note, but I think that's good information for anybody, let alone somebody who's dealing with a situation like that.
Yeah.
Anywho,
we're gonna punt the next one.
We're gonna punt the next one because the next one's long.
The next one's
and
like it's gonna take 15 minutes to just read the questions.
Requires some nuanced reading. So
yeah,
that's gonna do it for us this week. Thank you guys for tuning in on the Mail In Podcast. Thank you, Randall, for being on the ones and twos. Thank you, Sally, for doing your thing. If you would like to leave a question, please check out the description of this episode where you can ask us a question. Go to washmedia.com, hit the logo to ask your questions. All anonymous. And we really appreciate your inquiries and seeing how we can help. So hit the hotline number if you want to leave a voicemail, 888-362-6245, or again, you can write in at the link in the Twitter bio or Instagram bio at Mail In Podcast. Sally, where can the people find you?
I'm happy to say that I did get back on Twitter.
Whoa.
But I will not be posting. But you can follow me on Sally deFries on Instagram
there you
or X.
I'm Brett Merriman at Schmerriman on those platforms, and we'll see y'all next week.